Thank you for joining us. My name is Ginger Hedrick.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? And happy November. Welcome to episode number 11 of AINC's Volunteer Spotlight. It's hard to believe we've already been doing this for almost a year now. It's interesting. I feel like I come back to every episode and I'm always like, man, this is incredible. We've already been doing this for 6 months, but we're almost at a year. I am going to do something special, of course, not on the year mark exactly, but next year in January. So you guys look forward to that. Also, I'd like to remind everybody that Colorado Gives Day is on December 5th. And actually, as of this month, you can schedule your donations. So go to our website, aincolorado.org, and you'll actually find links to Colorado Gives on our front page. I believe you can also go to aincolorado.org/donate for that. Also, we have some new feedback lines in the works. We are working on a telephone number, like a call-in line for our podcasts for folks to ask questions about our podcasts. But now you can email feedback@aincolorado.org for any feedback that you have about any of our shows. This month, we have Ginger Hedrick, who has been with us since 2019, just right before all the 2020 COVID stuff happened. And she's been a wonderful volunteer, very, very flexible. I actually was reading the grocery store ads, which is a very tough program because you kind of have to be very fast, and there's just a lot involved. And now she's been reading the Colorado Sun, and I think you've also got the Gazette. Pretty sure.
No, the Fort Collins Coloradoan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
And she's been a solid reader ever since. Anyway, welcome to the show, Ginger. How's your morning going?
Thank you, Evan. It's going great. Nice to talk to you.
That's awesome. Well, let's have some icebreaker questions here because those are always fun. Like I said, questions to spice up the show. First of all, Ginger, what's your favorite, especially around this time, what's your favorite hot beverage?
Well, I'll tell you what, I do not drink coffee. I do not drink tea. I will have an occasional hot chocolate, but I'll tell you what, I hardly drink any hot beverages at all. So it's just usually water or like Diet Coke or milk, something like that, or juice.
Okay. Are you much of a hot chocolate person?
Occasionally, not real often, but especially in the winter, though.
Right on. Well, yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I drink coffee, tea, hot chocolate, you name it. But since it's going to be winter here pretty shortly. It's getting chilly. What's your favorite outdoor activity to do around this time?
Ooh, I love to hike, especially when the leaves are turning colors and it's cooler out. That's just my favorite thing to do. We live in West Virginia. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah.
And we moved here 2 years ago to be closer to our 3 adult sons who all live in Maryland, in the Maryland, Washington, D.C. area. So we are very close to Maryland, Pennsylvania. We're in the upper eastern peninsula of West Virginia. So we're close to Maryland, Pennsylvania, and Virginia. But we live right on the Potomac River, and along the Potomac River is what they call the C&O Canal, the Chesapeake and Ohio Canal. And there's a path that runs the entire length of the canal. I think it goes from, I think it starts in Georgetown in D.C. and then goes, 100, 200 miles north, right along the river. So that's a special place to walk. It's really beautiful and shaded, and I would recommend it to anybody if you come on out this way.
Absolutely. I've been in that Philly kind of area. That's a beautiful area. And Yeah, and especially around this time, it's a beautiful time to hike right now.
You bet. You bet.
Indeed. All right, last up. This might be a bit of a tough one, but
Okay.
who is the most inspirational person in your life?
Let's see. Well, I would say, of course, my parents were inspirational. They, especially my dad, who introduced me to music, and that's been pretty much my whole life. But my parents definitely. Right now, I would say my very dear friend who is living with ovarian cancer, and she is just so positive and so gracious and just carrying this burden so well, and I just have great respect for her, and yeah, that would be it.
Absolutely. All right, let's go to the volunteer side of things here.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about how you got involved as a volunteer. How did you first hear about Audio Information Network, and what made you want to apply for the position?
We had a neighbor in Boulder who read for the blind, and I think he went to Denver to do that, but this was, many years ago. But I always thought that would be such a cool thing to do once I retired, and so I kind of put that in my back pocket. And then when I did retire, I was reading the Daily Camera, and they always had a section in there about volunteer opportunities. And I saw a listing for Audio Information Network, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is something I'd like to do. So I applied, and Kat got right back to me and invited me to come in for an audition, which I did, scared to death. And she had me read, I can't remember, a couple pages of some random article or something like that. And then kind of gave me some pointers and invited me to be a regular reader. So that was very exciting. I started out reading in the studio, which was fun. I enjoyed that. And then, of course, everything shut down for COVID. So I have been reading remotely since then.
Yeah, absolutely. And then you moved over to West Virginia, and
we've been here
carried on
2 years. So yeah, I just wanted to continue. I really enjoy reading, and I think it's a great, worthy cause.
Absolutely. Very good. Well, it kind of did answer my question. So yeah, you were scared to death during the audition. That is normal. It's a new thing, especially if you haven't done it before. How was that first reading for you?
With Kat, you mean, or when I did my very first reading?
Your very first reading, your very first program.
Very first program. Again, scared to death. Yeah. But I think it went well, and boy, I came back the next week, so it must have been okay.
Right. Absolutely. Well, obviously, you've done quite a lot of readings at this point. Is there anything in particular that you read that really stood out to you that you remember to this day, made you laugh, or just kind of moved you in a certain way?
Oh, wow. Well, I will say I did not enjoy reading the grocery ads. That was difficult. That was really tough. Yeah. But I very much enjoy reading the Coloradoan and also Colorado Sun, especially since we've moved now. It kind of helps me stay in touch with what's going on in Colorado. So I've enjoyed that. But as
Absolutely.
far as, something specific that I have read about, I can't say one thing really jumps out.
Okay. Well, I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a tough question because sometimes you read an article, you read an article and it sticks with you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm going to remember this. I'm going to pass this on to my ancestors or whatever. But
Right.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, and I hear that from a lot of folks. It is nice to be able to, especially if you're reading like the smaller town newspapers. Fort Collins is definitely not one of those, but you really do get to kind of learn a lot about the area.
Definitely. Yes.
Indeed.
Yeah. And I've really, I've really missed the Colorado connection being out here. So that reading those has really helped keep that connection for me. So I appreciate that.
That's really good to hear. Let's talk about your audio setup here. So this is probably my favorite part of the show. What does your recording setup look like? You got a computer, you got a mic, pretty much.
I got a MacBook Air, and I've got just the Apple headphones with the, not the headphones, the, what do you call it? Earbuds.
Yeah.
With the little recording thing on. That's it. And then I read from an iPad and talk into the MacBook Air.
Gotcha. And that would explain why your audio quality has always been very clear. I've said this in the past. If you really want a good plug-and-play computer specifically, I mean, yes, they are a little more expensive, but MacBook Airs are very good for recording. They don't have as many things to tweak or play around with for audio. But yeah, MacBook and the EarPods mic, I mean, if you're an Apple user, you've probably got a drawer full of those bad boys. So.
Oh, yeah. But it's been
good.
Easy. So yeah, that's worked out well for me.
Right on. Let's talk about other things besides volunteering. So, when you're not reading, what do you particularly enjoy doing on your spare time? What is your favorite thing to do? We talked hiking, but
yes,
more general.
That's definitely one of the things. I'm also a musician, so I enjoy playing, practicing. I play flute and have since the 4th grade. So I've been playing my entire life. So I have played in orchestras back in Colorado. Here, I have not joined up with an orchestra, but I have found some other musicians to play chamber music with. So that's been just great, a lot of fun. So I would say playing my flute. I read a lot, fiction, historical fiction, biography, that kind of stuff. And let's see, what else do I do? I knit. And I enjoy just hanging out with my family and our extended family.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, you said the M word, music, of course.
Of course.
It was so hard in the beginning when I was introducing you not to go down that rabbit hole, but that's a great segue. So what's your favorite genre of music?
Oh, classical.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I got my degree from University of Illinois in music ed. And so I am classically trained, and definitely that's my favorite. However, I am also a Led Zeppelin lover.
Yes.
So yeah. How about you?
Well, I am I always say I'm an everything lover. It's kind of tough, but I like a lot of experimentally kind of music, like not your typical electronic music, but like music that is out of the box. Like, you hear it and you're like, wait, I didn't know you could make music like that. Like, there's a group that I like called Odessa, and they actually take vocal samples like just somebody singing a note, they chop those samples up, and then they kind of mess with the pitch, and they make them into completely new songs, and it's just straight up incredible kind of stuff. So
very, very creative.
Yeah. Also do love good classical. There's a really good music art or an artist named Tim Janis that does like therapeutic music. Love him.
Cool.
But, yeah. And classic rock. I grew up with a grandma who's a Beatles fan, so I will listen to Beatles any day. Led Zeppelin, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Black Sabbath, all the good stuff. It's timeless for me.
It's good. And you heard about the Beatles' new song, the last song?
Yep. That's a pretty interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not sure how Lennon would feel about that now, but
yeah. Thanks to AI, huh?
Yeah, and AI is interesting, isn't it? I mean, they've got tools now, and I use them. I've used them before. Just when you're in a pinch, where you can literally just like upload an audio file, it'll clean it up, and then you download it, and it sounds great, and you don't have to do anything. Like, I got stuff like that, and like I've used it for thinking, just trying to get some stems for for ideas. It's
sure.
It's gotten past writer's block.
Sure.
Would you say the flute is your favorite instrument, or?
Yes, I think that I would say that I'm partial to that. However, oh man, I would, cello is gorgeous, viola is gorgeous, oboe I love. So but definitely flute is my favorite.
Absolutely. Is there a particular composer that you like to listen to?
I love Beethoven. I love
absolutely
Bach and Dvorak. I was on tour with an orchestra, and we went to Prague, and our conductor was acquainted with a Prague conductor who knew Dvorak's family, and they gave us a tour of Dvorak's private home, summer home, and that was very special. It was called Rusalka, and behind the house was a forest, a beautiful forest, and Dvorak would walk back into the forest and every day with his pen and paper and go back, and there was a little pond back there, and he would sit by the pond and compose all day, and it was just beautiful. That's was special.
Incredible.
Yeah, that was really fun.
That's how he got his inspiration.
Exactly. Yeah.
So cool. Right on. Well, I don't have a particularly good segue, but I do remember before we started, you were talking about dogs. I personally am a massive, massive dog lover, but enough about me. What kind of dogs do you got?
We have a 100-pound bloodhound named Daisy. And she is a sweetie, but she is a big slobbery mess.
Yep.
But we love her, and we also sit for our grand dog, I guess you would call it, one of our son's dogs, who is a boxer, and he is with us right now. And spends a lot of time here, and he's just mellow and just a really good guy.
Well, boxers are so sweet.
Yeah. Do you have a dog also then?
I do. I have a little, he's technically my mom's dog, but little Yorkshire Terrier mix. He's mixed with a breed called a Canton de Tuilier, and that's a very rare breed from Madagascar. In fact, they're so rare, I think you can only get them in Madagascar. So we got to really lucky with this little dude.
Wow. I know one couple that have that particular breed. So yes, they are very rare, but they're cute.
They are cute, and their fur is almost like, it feels exactly like cotton.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's circle around back to volunteering and reading. Do you have any advice that you would give to anybody interested in volunteering or to any existing readers?
Well, I find that it takes me about 2.5 hours every Wednesday morning to read both the Fort Collins Coloradoan and the Colorado Sun. And I do that every Wednesday. I find that it's not a lot of time to dedicate to this, yet I find it very fulfilling, and I feel like it's a real honor to be able to read for this purpose, and hoping that it helps some people out there who are blind or have low vision. So I really enjoy doing it. I think it's a great volunteer. I've done a lot of volunteering other places at Boulder Community Hospital, here at the hospital in near our town in West Virginia. But I just find that this is, reading for Audio Information Network is just a real pleasure and an honor to be able to do that.
Well, we're glad to have you on board.
Thank you.
Well, Ginger, we've almost come to the end of this episode already. These things fly by, don't they?
They do.
Indeed. Well, let's finish it up. Do you have any questions for me, Evan Starnes, or for the Audio Information Network of Colorado? Any questions at all?
I don't. I think it's a wonderful organization. Everyone I've come into contact with has been very nice and supportive, and just a great group of people.
That's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Ginger, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, Evan. It's fun.
And thank you, everybody, for tuning in and listening to episode number 11 of AINC's Volunteer Spotlight. I'm your host, Evan Starnes. Please don't forget to schedule your donation for Colorado Gives Day, and I will see you next month. Have a happy Thanksgiving.